This is Eric with a real-life moment. Ephesians 6:12 states, "We wrestle against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in heavenly places." These principalities and powers that Paul writes about here in Ephesians 6 use governments and political leaders as their instruments to break down the moral and godly fabric of any society. And now, churches and parents beware. Here are two present-day examples. In last Tuesday's Democratic debate, presidential candidate Beto O'Rourke said that churches, charities, and religious institutions that oppose same-sex marriage should lose their tax-exempt status. You say, that would never fly here in America. Didn't we all think that way 11 years ago about homosexual marriage being legalized in this country? And now it is the law in 37 states. Example number two. A new law in the Canadian province of Ontario allows government to take children from their homes in cases where the parents disagree with a child's expressed gender identity. This is the state having more power over a child's life and upbringing than the parents. One Canadian Christian leader stated, "With the passage of Bill 89, we've entered into an area of totalitarian power by the state such as never been witnessed before in Canada's history." Make no mistake, he said, Bill 89 is a grave threat to Christians and all people of faith who have children. In an interview on the subject with CBN News, Canadian Christian mom Tanya Allen, who heads up the organization Parents as First Educators, was asked, "What is your advice for Christian parents in Ontario right now as it relates to their children and the law?" She said, "Find your voice and speak up. The time to play the moderate card or the quiet Christian card is no longer. You were either on one side or the other." She was also asked, what was the response from the clergy on this issue? She said, in a quiet way, not much response. How sad, wouldn't we agree? As Christians, we can and must take a stand against the moral evils and encroaching laws that are attempting to assault our marriages and families today. Of course, our God-honoring position should never be articulated in a mean-spirited, caustic, un-Christ-like way, but nonetheless with a heartfelt heavenly conviction. In Acts 5:29, Peter said, "We must obey God rather than men." In these last days, to all of us who are believers and to all true churches that preach and teach the true gospel, let us be reminded again of those previous words from that courageous Christian woman in Canada. Find your voice and speak up. The time to play the moderate card or the quiet Christian card is no longer. You are either on one side or the other. God help us to always be on His side, for the sake of our children, our grandchildren, and for our nation's very survival in the days ahead. Until next time, this is Real Life.